On Monday I wrote about all the home runs in April. Well, the pitchers got a little revenge on Tuesday. For one night at least the best games revolved around good starting pitching instead of dingers. Here's a roll call of some of those performances. Gerrit Cole, Houston Astros, 7 IP, 1 H0R, 3 BB, 11. So Cole took a no-hitter into the 6th inning before Max Kepler doubled to right field with 1 out. Cole entered the game with a 1-4 record and 4.71 ERA, but he had pitched better than those numbers indicate. He was tied with Max Scherzer for the major league lead in strikeouts, and batters were hitting .212 off him. He'd given up 6 home runs, but all were solo shots. He had one bad game in which the Rangers scored 9 runs off him, including 5 in the first inning, and that helped ruin his era. Anyway, Cole handcuffed the Twins all game with his 4-pitch arsenal. His swing and miss rate is almost 5% higher than it was in 2018 and ranks 4th among starters behind those of Blake Snell, Luis Castillo and Scherzer this season. He's an elite starter with elite stuff, and I expect he'll have a run of good games coming up that should get him back in the Cy Young discussion in the second half. As for the hard-hitting Twins, they entered the game leading the majors in home runs per game while averaging 5.42 runs per game, but they scored 1 run the past 2 games against Cole and Justin Verlander. They won 1-0 on Monday. Granted, we're talking about 2 of the best pitchers in the league, but let's not hand the AL Central to the Twins just yet. Twins vs Orioles, 6-0, 7.5 runs per game, 3.83 home runs per game. Twins vs everyone else, 11-10, 4.57 runs per game, 1.29 home runs per game. I like what the Twins have done, but we'll have a better feel for them after the next 2 games against Houston and a 6-game road trip to New York and Toronto. Rick Porcello, Boston Red Sox, 8 IP, 2 H0R, 2 BB8. So after a horrid start, 11.12 ERA in his first 3 outings, Porcello is looking back on track and has allowed 5 runs in 19 2/3 innings in his past 3 starts. His game score of 84 ties the 4th highest of his career, so this was not just his best start of 2019 but also one of the best of his career. Chris Paddock, San Diego Padres, 6 IP, 4 H2R, 1 BB, 5. So love me some Chris Paddock. This kid is the real deal. The 2 runs he allowed came in the 2nd inning on 3 singles, exit velocities of 82.6, 90.0 and 80.2 miles per hour. Even when he was hit, he wasn't hit hard.
Premium from it, Paddock Chris.
First, Franmil Reyes hit 2 home runs and drove in 3 runs. He's hitting .232, .286, .561 and has 8 home runs. He's a huge key to the Padres' success this year. When he connects, the ball goes a long way. His strikeout rate is not excessive, 22%, but his chase rate is too high at the moment, 36.4%. If he can show the plate discipline he had in the second half last season, he's capable of big-time numbers. Second, is Kirby Yates the best closer in the game? He has an argument. He has allowed 1 run in 16 innings, has a 25-5 strikeout-to-walk ratio and 14 saves, and was dominant last season, 2.14 ERA, 63 innings, 90 Ks, so you can't say it's a fluke. Closers aren't exactly lighting it up this year, and some of the long-time best in the game have dropped a notch. Kenley Jansen, Aroldis Chapman. Yates, by the way, was claimed off waivers from the Angels in April 2017. Yates got help in the 9th from this incredible throw by Francisco Mejia.
Throw, perfect direct hit, pitch, nasty dashing away rally, erased oncoming fist.
Is he legit? It's too early to say. He throws hard enough, with a 94 miles per hour fastball. His minor league track record isn't overly impressive except for one aspect: he was stingy with home runs. That's what has happened so far, with just 2 in 32 innings. He has allowed a .293 WOBA, and his expected WOBA via StatCast data isn't much higher, so there hasn't been a lot of luck in his results. He has been good and maybe surpasses his back-end starter projection. Plus, he still has rookie status. By the way, Bryce Harper was good at home in this game. "I'd do the same thing," he said afterward. Harper finishes his first month in a Phillies uniform at .240, .388, .490 with 6 home runs and 20 RBIs in 29 games, but he's hitting .188 in his past 17 games. Also, this happened in Tuesday's game. Bryce Harper showing why he had a -3.2 defensive WAR last season. The Baseball Reference misplays a ball with a 99% catch probability per StatCast, and faceplants in the outfield. Paul Casella at Paul_Casella, May 1, 2019. Those were just a few of the highlights. I didn't even mention German Marquez, who took a perfect game into the 6th inning against the Brewers, only to lose it when Raimel Tapia had a very catchable fly ball bounce off his glove.
Jesus Aguilar then did this against an 0-2 pitch in the 7th for a 3-run home run, and the Brewers beat the Rockies 4-3. Here's another example of why.
But he allowed 4 runs and 4 walks. I'm sure in his mind it was a dominant start. The aforementioned Castillo started for the Reds and had another strong effort, allowing 2 runs in 6 2/3 innings. He came away with a no decision. Speaking of that game, Mets blow late lead, win in extras. The Mets led 3-1 entering the 9th inning, but with Edwin Diaz unavailable after pitching 3 days in a row, manager Mickey Callaway tried to eke out a second inning from Jeurys Familia. It didn't work. The Reds scored twice to tie it up, and Drew Gagnon escaped a bases-loaded jam with a strikeout of Eugenio Suarez. The Mets won in the bottom of the 10th when J.D. Davis doubled and Pete Alonso scored him with a sacrifice fly. Thoughts on that 9th inning? 2019 MLB draft coverage. From the names to note of the team's position to grab a star. Get ready for the 2019 MLB draft. Complete draft coverage. Diaz pitched Friday when the Mets were down 8-6 and Saturday to save a 3-run lead. Callaway's usage of Diaz hasn't exactly been optimal, as he has used him twice with a 4-run lead, once when down 2 runs and 3 times with a 3-run lead. The game Friday was probably just to get him some work because he hadn't pitched in 4 days, but pitching that game meant he wasn't available to pitch this game. Trying to get 2 innings from Familia was odd, considering he hasn't pitched well this season. Clearly, as evidenced by using Diaz with those 4-run leads, Callaway has little faith in the rest of the bullpen. To be fair, the rest of the bullpen hasn't been great, and Seth Lugard, the best of the rest, pitched the previous 2 days and threw 39 pitches. Some of this ties into what all teams are facing these days. If your starters aren't going deep into games and your bullpen isn't deep and you have a string of close games, you're going to burn through your top relievers. Still, it doesn't seem that Callaway has a good feel yet on optimal usage for his pen. P.S. Jeff McNeil had a 4-hit game, his 5th since joining the Mets on July 24, the most 4-hit games in that span. CC gets to 3,000 strikeouts. Congrats to CC Sabathia on his 3,000th career strikeout, which makes him just the 3rd lefty, Randy Johnson, Steve Carlton, and 17th pitcher overall to achieve that milestone,
cementing a career.
Sabathia was a French Hall of Fame candidate a few years ago, but he has bounced back from some injury issues and added enough bulk to his numbers that his case is much stronger now. He isn't quite a lock, but he has passed 3,000 strikeouts, is 3 wins short of 250, has a Cy Young Award and was big in the Yankees' 2009 title run. His first strikeout in the majors, April 8, 2001, against Mike Kincaid. The Indians beat the Orioles 4-3 that day. CC got a no decision. In the lineup for the Orioles, Cal Ripken Jr., who made his debut 20 years earlier in 1981. One of the Orioles in the lineup was Rick Dempsey. In Dempsey's first game in 1969, he played with Harmon Killebrew, who debuted in 1954. In that game, Phil Cavarretta was in the opposing lineup. His debut came in 1934, and a teammate in that game was an old catcher named Bobo Farrell, who debuted in 1915. O'Farrell played against Honus Wagner in his first game. Sabathia to Ripken to Dempsey to Killebrew to Cavarretta to O'Farrell to Wagner, 6 degrees of CC, and we go all the way back, 1897, Vladdy Jr.
With the D, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. showed off some range and arm. Granted, Albert Pujols was running the fire corner.